Well, I woke up this morning from a reoccurring dream.
Hello, people. I'm Jaby Koay, joined by Achara Kirk.
What's up?
We're looking at only DESI's Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham, TheRevisits. What's good? Just like every other description, I'm not trying to defame this movie. It's just for a little fun. If you can't handle it, feel free to watch other stuff that you like. Hashtag DESI trailer. That's
oh, here comes the roasting.
You go chasing rabbits, be careful what you find. The truth you seek might just blow right
If you guys haven't already, please subscribe and hit that bell icon on all notifications, and subscribe to Only DESI as well.
A movie where it's all about loving your parents, aka No Ladki Ka Chakkar. They don't say it, but it's there. हम साथ साथ हैं में सौतेली माँ की बकचोदी के फटे सफलता के बाद करण जौहर brings you सौतेले बाप का पश्चाताप. A movie जिसे देखने के बाद Indian parents knew exactly what to do if their kids marry against their will. निकाल दो सालों को घर से. Meet Raichand family that lives in India. This is Delhi, by the way.
Oh.
Shodu banao tum bas. A modern family that will teach you how to become an ideal husband by showing that only men take decisions.
Yeah.
Don't wait for your woman to even reply.
Yeah.
And that one line that every Indian woman just love to hear from their husband.
I know that was annoying. I have spoken. Them's the rules, lady.
Oh, this is so romantic.
And they never really addressed that.
Hashtag goals.
Well, in this scene, they sort of talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Meet Mr. Raichand and his
Parampara.
Parampara. Parampara. Why is it
Ab zyada nahi bolunga.
so
What
quiet?
my Big B's fan will be like. Meet Rahul, जो इंग्लैंड से अपनी स्टडी पूरी करके अपने देश इंडिया वापस आ रहा है. ये वही शॉट है जहाँ इंडियन ऑडियंस को दिल्ली के नाम पर इंग्लैंड दिखाकर चूतिया बनाया गया था.
What?
Rahul is Bhola in person.
Okay, hold on.
But one day,
Wait.
They,
What
they were
does that
showing,
mean?
They were showing England, but saying it's India.
Yeah, that's what I thought. When I saw that shot, I was like, yeah, that does not look like India.
I mean, yeah. What do you want?
This movie is a fantasy, though.
Yeah.
This is like a straight up fantasy.
Like all the homes you see in Indian movies and shows. Does your average Indian home, like New York doesn't have any apartments like the way they do in Friends. Monica and Rachel's apartment is huge.
That apartment is huge by New York standards.
There's no apartments like that in New York. It's because it's a show and you need the space.
Right.
Right. And so for Indian cinema, you just, for whatever reason, they want to have a lot more space that they're showing.
Because it's aspirational, right? I think back in the 90s, that was the thing where, you know, a lot of movies came out and it was very much focused on the upper class and the rich people and this kind of thing that the regular Indian couldn't really relate to, but it was nice to look at on the big screen, you know?
Right. The whole thing that they talked about where he's like, I said it, didn't I? They never actually addressed that in the film. For it being 3.5 hours, like, there's no point other than the conversation where she says, you know, there's the saying that husband is God or something like that. Just like guest is God, husband is God. And so your wife's duty is to listen to her husband. That's part of the tradition.
That's part of the culture.
That's part of the culture, right?
Yeah.
And she said, and she went through her monologue of saying, you know, in this instance you were right. In this instance you were right. In this instance you were right. Here you were wrong. Here you were wrong. Here you were wrong. She never says, when you told me to shut my ass up and you weren't listening to me. She never says that.
Well, no, because that's not the point of the movie.
No, I understand. But it's like for someone like myself, when I see something like that, I just want it to be addressed. You know, just like with what I interpreted as drama and everyone is telling me was comedy, where SRK, I mean, I got that there was some levity to it, but SRK was basically being very dismissive and trying to take Kajol and put her in her place in the latter half of the film. And I'm like, why is he treating her this way? Doesn't he like that about her? And everyone's like, no, that's funny. That's comedy. I'm like, I guess to you it's funny, but to me, I just see someone as like not appreciating the person. Like all the things that she's doing wrong is why he fell in love with her, and that never came up.
Yeah, but I mean, we have the benefit of looking at this today, 20 years after the movie came out, and I think a lot of you know, just the way people think nowadays is very different from what it was back then.
Audience को दिल्ली के नाम पर इंग्लैंड दिखाकर चूतिया बनाया गया था. Rahul is bhola in person, but one day he sees Anjali's juicy neck. Rahul is triggered now.
Yeah, this was saucy.
But Mr. Raichand want Naina to marry Rahul. लेकिन उनको ये नहीं पता कि राहुल पहले ही अंजलि का गला गिला कर चुका है. Lol. But in between, Anjali's father dies, and Rahul is like, well, it is a sad day. चलो शादी कर लेते हैं. Can you imagine their wedding anniversary? इनको ये समझ नहीं आता होगा कि केक काटे या फिर खिचड़ी बनाए.
Wait, what? They would get confused if they should cut the cake or make porridge.
Oh,
okay.
I guess it's like something that you do to commemorate the dead or remember, you know, dead family members or something.
Gotcha.
So it's like, what are you going to do?
Right.
Is it a happy occasion or is it
because he's
like
agreeing to
sad?
get married to her right as soon as her dad passed away. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way.
The scenes that he was just showing with SRK and Kajol, it's interesting to me because the whole idea is that SRK, Salman Khan, and I guess Amir Khan as well, if I'm not mistaken, like they don't do the kissing scenes, but I'm like, but that's way more saucy than a kissing scene to me.
Yeah, that was very saucy.
It seems way more sensual than a kissing scene ever would be. Maybe there's something I'm missing.
Neck okay, lips not okay.
Meet Rohan, who is in high school. ये वही shot है जहाँ Indian audience को Indian boarding school के नाम पर.
Okay, wait, this is going so fast. This is that shot where Indian audience were fooled again by showing England in the name of an Indian boarding school.
Wasn't he in England?
I thought he was.
I thought he was in England. He was
I
playing against a whole bunch of white kids, unless it was like an international school in Delhi or something.
I thought he was in England and then he went back to England, but
yeah, no, I mean he was in England, then he came back to India, then he went back to England.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
फिर से England दिखाकर चूतिया बनाया गया था. यार, the whole movie is about.
I did think about that. I mean, we talked about that.
Yeah.
फिर तुम इंडिया बोल के इंग्लैंड दिखाते हो.
That's right.
Hey, listen. That's your right. You know what I mean? If you want to do that, you do that. You're welcome to take England and show it as India. That's fine. Although, to be fair, there are a lot of amazing vistas in India.
Right.
And you could probably do better.
No, right. I did think about that when I was watching the film, and I did bring that up in our review, which is just how much it keeps talking about India and how we aren't allowed to do that as Americans. That was my comparison. It was a little bit of envy because I'm like, if we did that, we're considered jingoistic. It's like, what the hell? But
well, yeah, it's just weird to have that much outward love and pride for your country and to show it in a movie that overtly.
If you're American.
Yeah, if you're American.
Yeah.
Whereas, like in this movie, it was just really nice.
But I would hazard a guess that maybe England is even the same way. Like England is more likely to take a shit on itself than to, you know, be patriotic.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in terms of the films.
Rohan used to be a chubby kid who was still a better match for Kangana Ranaut, who was only 13 years old back then.
What? Wait, what?
Just saying.
Hold on. Wait.
What?
Wait, what? I'm so confused.
Oh, that's a joke about Kangana and Hrithik.
Is she in the movie?
Getting together. No.
I'm sorry, I'm confused. What does that mean?
Well, because there was a whole thing with Kangana and Hrithik, right? Like apparently they had an affair or something. There was like a whole drama. I don't know everything about it. But I guess what he's saying here is that, you know, that kid would have been a better match for Kangana because he's closer in age to her now, maybe, whereas Hrithik is 13 years older than her.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Rohan used to be a chubby kid who was still a better match for Kangana Ranaut, who was only 13 years old back then.
Yeah.
Just saying. But after 10 years, Dadi ko news leak करने की चूल मस्ती है.
That scene with the older ladies and how Hrithik finds out.
Yeah.
It was just, that was one of those scenes where I was like,
he's just gonna show up any second now.
No, not even that. It's just like the dialogue happening between them. I'm like, really? Like that's what they'd be saying to each other in that exact way. They're talking about all this stuff and like being very revealing in that way. It's like they're saying
when you don't have that much longer to live,
but
you just talk about anything you want to talk about.
It's that I hate it in movies when things are said in such a way that is very obviously for the audience. It's like the lines aren't cut in such a way that someone would actually say it. They're written in such a way that it's basically
Exposition
exposition for the audience. I'm like, Isn't there a nicer way to put that? I mean, maybe it's the subtitles are bad, but it just seemed to me that it's very expository as opposed to dialogue. And Hrithik happens to overhear it and goes, "What? Wait. What did you just say?" And they try to cover their tracks, and he goes, "No, that doesn't add up. What are you talking about?" Like, it isn't like that. It's more like they just let it all out of the bag, and Hrithik happens to be there, and he's like, "Oh, sad face," and then they do the whole flashback thing.
10 years. दादी को न्यूज़ लीक करने की चूल मचती है. And then Rohan is gonna run all across the London to find Rahul. Literally. And then finally he finds his address on the website.
Yeah, so easy.
जैसे
Super
राहुल कोई
easy.
prostitute हो. फिर रोहन अपनी आइडेंटिटी चेंज करके राहुल के घर घुसता है, पर घंटा कुछ नहीं उखाड़ पाता. लेकिन फिर कुछ ऐसा होता है जिसके बाद after 10 years a son and father gonna meet again, and that is
Death.
You did it, Daddy. You did it.
Oh, jeez.
Starring Heart Nipples.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Oh my God.
You saw that?
No, it wasn't that.
The
it was just
Rahul
that he
detector.
was wearing.
The Rahul detector.
That's so funny though, because it's true. It's just like, it's almost like she doesn't even give a shit about Rohan. It's all about Rahul. And like anytime he comes, it's just like, the wind.
Yeah.
And then she looks, and then it's always too early. He's always never there the first time she looks, and then she has a sad face. And then she looks again.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, here comes S-OK.
But the nipple thing I didn't even catch.
No, I was just like, wow, they love to put SRK in the see-through shirts. That's all. I mean, the fashion was,
Yeah.
interesting.
They see Edward Snowden.
DESI Edward Snowden.
Because she's
Your
like
father,
leaking all the
your
info.
friend's father.
Oh, okay.
They see Edward Snowden.
Right. Okay, gotcha.
Your father, your friend's father, everybody's father.
You all have to go someday. No bestowing daughters this time. Actors famous for playing dad roles in old Bollywood.
Oh, okay.
जो बोलता है वही होता है. कंगना तेरा नहीं.
Oh.
Lol. Never gonna happen. Kabhi India, but
Sometime.
mostly London.
Kabhi India, but mostly London. Yeah, no, it was. I mean, there was a lot of London in that movie, for sure.
I wondered about that while I was watching it, but I was like, maybe this is some part of India that I don't know about.
But you know what? As far as I understand, back in the 90s, it was super popular to kind of focus on that NRI storyline. This comes up a lot. Like Kal Ho Na Ho was also not in India for the most part, wasn't it? It was New York.
But it was overtly said that it was New York.
Right, yeah. Whereas here it was like...
He was taking a lot of shots at the film, but it makes sense.
It's easy to do, right? Because you can look at it 20 years later and be like, okay, these are the problems. These are the problems with how people are treating each other and relationships and whatnot, because we've evolved as a society. And I think, even within Indian society, ideas are changing. And so... you can look at it and go, oh no, I wouldn't want that necessarily to be the relationship that, I want to have. But that's what it was like. And I guess in culture, that's still what it's like to a certain extent sometimes.
Regarding, it being shot in London, I'm not mad at it. It's fine. They're like you said, they're creating a fantasy. In Rumble in the Bronx, that's supposed to be New York. It's Canada. You just do what you can to make it work.
Wasn't it like back in the day in Bollywood, weren't a lot of films shot in places like Switzerland and stuff as well? So you get those like beautiful views. Like people came to watch movies to escape.
Sure.
And so you get that sense here.
I think that's a very Asian thing though, to like take a completely different place and call it something else.
Oh yeah, it's fine. It's a movie.
There is this film called, it's a spoof film. It's called Kentucky Fried Movie. And they have a whole spoof section, it's like 30 minutes long, on Enter the Dragon. There's a shot of the Statue of Liberty. It's a helicopter shot, and it says Hong Kong.
Oh.
It's like, clearly that's not Hong Kong.
Right.
That's New York, right?
Right.
And so this is something that they do in Asian cinema a lot, is they would totally show England and call it New Delhi.
Right.
You know, it's fine. Whatever. It's the point. That's not the point. The point is telling the story and what's going on with these characters. So
yeah, and basically you've got to be some sort of rich or royalty to own a big ass house like that.
Right.
That's an estate.
Right. But I mean, overall, the video was funny. I thought that what he was pointing out was cool and to a certain degree educational. So you guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and make sure to subscribe to Only DESI's YouTube channel and subscribe here as well. Bell icon, all notifications. Check out our other reactions, reviews, short films, vlogs, and interviews. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
Achara Kirk.
Peace out.